just wanted to start by thanking you, KB, for taking the time to chat with us here at The Christian Beat, all about your new music and all the other exciting news and things that's in your world.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I do want to start with your fifth studio album, His Glory Alone 2, which dropped earlier this month. I just want to hear a little bit about when you first started to pull together the track list for that and kind of what your initial going in thought was for that project.
Great question. I typically try to just be all the way in on the creative process, not think about what this is going to be called, radio typically isn't even an option for us. So I'm certainly not thinking about radio singles. I'm just thinking what feels right for where we are at. And as we are collecting records, I work with my friends who produce everything that I do. As we're having conversations, talking life, we're just creating and talking. And what we have tried to do is get to the end of that process and see if there was some kind of theme that ran through everything that we did. And almost always there is, by God's grace. There's like, oh, this all feels like this. And I think that happens often when an artist is committed to be authentic, in their music. They really want it to be them flipping their hearts inside out. I want you to see what's going on inside, like what my passions are, what my calling is, what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling. As long as the artist himself isn't all over the place, there'll be some kind of, or herself, there'll be some kind of theme that runs through the work that's produced. And that's what we did. We got to the end of the album, and I just started making songs so I couldn't make any more. In fact, I made more songs that didn't even go on the album. They'll be on the next project. And we looked at what we had and we were like, this feels like the last album, but from a different perspective, deeper, richer themes, and more expansive production. It feels like we went from glory to glory, glory to glory. So you got HGA 2.
That's awesome. I was actually going to ask, with it being the two there, if that was like something that like going in from the front, that's what you were working for. But it sounds like that's not necessarily the case there.
That's right. That's correct. That is absolutely correct.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I know that you have a lot of different collaborations on the project outside of your like core team with all of the different artists. So do you just want to talk a little bit about some of those came to be and how you think enhances the project and the music that's out there? Yeah.
So for one, Britt Nicole has always been an artist that I've wanted to work with for many years. My wife and I, our first dance was to one of her songs. And I've just always admired Britt Nicole and her voice. And as I knew I wanted her to be on the album, but I wasn't sure where. And as we looked at what we had going on, I was like, man, I think that this song, Your Way, he would just come over on this thing and just absolutely body it. And I think in a lot of ways, it speaks to our stories. So I reached out to Britt about doing it, and she was all the way down. And just first try, turned her vocals in. They were incredible. And we knew we kind of had one and accompanied it with some other, post-production stuff. And then outside of that, it's just people that I'm friends with, that I'm just making music with my friends. And I'm like, hey, friend, can you do this? Or with Danza, for example, I didn't know Nico Ime before, but Kardak, is my friend, and I trust him. And he said, I got the guy, trust me. And then I connected with Nico when we shot the video, and then he and I became cool. So it's just a project filled with my friends. And I was happy to do it. Every song that I have on there I'd be happy to tour with whoever it is that, is featured on every feature that I have on the album. I'd be happy to tour with that particular artist because it's just, these are people I'm just cool with.
Absolutely. And your current single is also a collaboration piece too, Miracles with Lecrae. And if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken, you've mentioned that that's kind of like a reimagined song for yourself as well. So do you want to just talk, how that one came?
Yeah. So, man, I think that as I look at the last, 12 years, which is composed my career, 13 now, because my anniversary is on Monday, and I signed my record deal. Oh, no. Yep, 13. I signed my record deal 1 month before I got married. So that's kind of the inauguration of my career. So 13 years ago. And I just see God's hand through the entire process, and not just in, opportunities or moments where we kind of shut the mouth of a lion or slay the giant, but also in the trouble and the trials, the disagreements. In fact, God sustaining us through the losses and the crosses is often more impressive than God's supernatural work in bringing us celebratory moments of victory and champagne popping. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Lecrae and I both are men with scars. He says that in the song, "I'm a scarred man." I think that's a powerful phrase. But the wonder of healing, and which is what scars represent, wounds that healed, is a miraculous thing. And I think that he and I coming together, representing that individually, and then our relationship as it has grown throughout the years, through many, brothers fight sometimes, through many, debates and arguments and perspectives. And we've always landed on reconciliation. We've always been honest with each other. We've always been able to get to a place of peace, and now stronger than ever. And I think that speaks to God's miraculous work as well. And then the actual song is about the ways in which God is active in people's lives, and inspired by a song called, I think it's called "1,000 Little Miracles," that Brandon Lake is a part of, and a few other folks as well. We want to be a part of the messages that are going out in the world, reminding people that just because you don't see God doing what you are hoping he would do, that he's not, that does not mean that he's not active. And then if you could sit back, you might be able to see, you will be able to see all the things that he's already done. God is doing a million things behind our back and underneath our nose that we just aren't aware of. And we want to have moments and have songs to remind us to reflect on that.
Absolutely. And you had mentioned being on tour a little bit earlier in here, but you actually are on tour right now.
Yes.
The Summer Worship Nights tour. I think it's with Phil Wickham right now. So do you just want to talk some of those nights that you have, and kind of like the moments that have spoken to you so far?
Yeah, I think so. I'm here supporting my brothers Brandon Lake and Phil Wickham, and I am in a lot of ways getting an opportunity to be in front of folks that don't know who I am. So it's been awesome introducing the world of what we do to a new audience. I've also been blessed by how God can take the music that we're making and give it this transcendental vibe that you wouldn't write this up in the marketing meeting that this is the target audience, but then you find people who are outside that audience that are deeply impacted by what it is you're doing. So those aspects have been really encouraging.
Absolutely. I was gonna ask something along the lines of, in that tour, I mean, you've obviously done things with Brandon before and different things, but you have different sounds too. So you
Yeah.
would really be having different audiences and target audiences, and just having that come together in one night. I'm sure that that's a fun thing to do and pull together.
Yeah.
At,
Yes. Yeah. It's so interesting. It's diverse, and unexpected in some ways,
Mhm.
and humbling. But I think that it's somehow the Lord is weaving it together into a very dope night. And and Brandon and Phil are they're real. They're the real deal. Those dudes love the Lord, and their music is an expression of that. And yeah, I think that people are really, really meeting with Jesus when they do their set.
Absolutely. Don't want to ask you what your favorite song to perform those nights right now, because I know that that's an impossible question probably to answer. But is there one that, like, in this current season, that you're just really enjoying getting to do live?
Yeah, I would say Danza. Danza is a Dembo record, so it's a uh, Dominican style record, but it is a universal sound with the drums, and so it's been really, really encouraging seeing people that don't even speak Spanish, are not familiar with Hispanic or Latin music, rather, just enjoying dancing in the presence of God. And we got this. The samples from Fred Hammond. It's a legendary gospel song. So
Mhm.
having that, taking Fred Hammond to the Dominican Republic, is this really, really interesting and fun experience.
For sure. It's probably not something that you would have thought of, you necessarily know right away if they're at the front of this, like coming together with that diversity, like you had mentioned, bringing different things together.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, I also want to talk about your debut book. I know you were on GMA earlier this month as well, kind of talking through that. And I'm
Yeah.
curious to know kind of what prompted you to also release that, to work on that, and how it was the same and different with some of your like musical creative work versus it being a written creative work.
Yeah, so I'm also a podcaster. So Southside Rabbi is our show that I co-host with Amin Hudson, and we are dealing with Christ and culture every day, and I know there's only so much I can do on a song, and it's 3 minutes, and I think that what I love far more than making music, is discipling people, and books are, I mean, a book it was God's choice for discipleship. So I think that books it gives us the ability to go deeper with the people that we're hoping to help, and by God's grace, I can write a little bit. I wrote Dangerous Jesus, and I didn't just say, hey, I want a book about this, and they brought me a book, and I wrote that thing, not alone. I had help, but I sat down and wrote the book. And I just love, I love the prospect, the potential to be sitting with somebody in their living room or on a flight. That's what was so dope about GMA to me as well, is that in fact, that was the best thing about GMA, is that I got to sit down with people. I was sitting down with the host, but I was sitting down in living rooms and in jail cells and, all around the world, having a conversation with people about Jesus. That's what I love. And the book allows me to do that, broadly.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know we're getting close to time, so I'll kind of wrap with one final question. But it
Okay.
was announced here that you were nominated for 2 more GMA Dove Awards. Just want to hear a little bit of what those type of nominations mean to you throughout the career.
Well, they're always affirming. I love the folks at the Doves. Their president is just as fine and just stellar, and just of upstanding character of a person that you can never meet. She has been just a tremendous supporter of Christian hip hop, and the Doves has always just been an encouraging place for us. So I always feel honored. I feel blessed by it. It's also, you know, exciting for the team because, you know, I got, you know, there's a lot of people making this work behind me. I'm the face of it, but I am not the body. And so I love the Doves the most for that all the people who are working behind the scenes to make this happen are seen and encouraged and affirmed. And it's my greatest joy to take those awards and hand them out to my people.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, I just wanted to thank you again, KB, for taking the time to chat with us about the music, the tour, the book, everything that's happening. So I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. God bless you, sister.